Thanks for your support as a channel member, F1 Skiddy. We lost the Drivers' World Championship lead with Pierre Gasly last time out in Canada, but we're aiming to snatch it right back today in Austria. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 45, I think this is, of Haas with F2 and GP2 champions only. We're gearing up for a sprint weekend in Spielberg, and we are 1 point off the top of the Drivers' Championship with Pierre Gasly, a point behind George Russell, who leads the way. We are second in the Constructors' Championship, 55 points adrift of Red Bull, but we have a pretty handy 19-point lead over Aston Martin, and we're pretty much trouncing Ferrari and Mercedes right now, so we're doing very, very, very well. Much better than anticipated this season. We're already a third of the way through our final campaign with the American team. Drugovich and Gasly have done really well. Gasly's got 2 victories, and both of those victories have come in even-numbered race weekends. We won the 2nd and 4th rounds of the year, and hopefully that trend continues. I have, in the background, been fiddling around with some audio settings with my mic, so let me know how things sound. I'm just looking at the levels at the moment. Sounds alright, looks alright to me, but yeah, hopefully it sounds a bit crisper, cleaner, a little bit more professional for you guys watching these videos. We can't proceed yet because we're missing a car part, so we should probably sort that out. And if you remember back to Canada, we put the wrong engine in for the race in qualifying, which meant we weren't as fast as we should have been. We will be righting that today. We'll make sure we put the correct engine in. We don't need to replace anything on Drugovich's car, and we need to replace quite a few bits actually on Pierre Gasly's car, not because he crashed, just because they've reached the end of their lifespan. So I think actually we've got a few bits and pieces in terms of updates to bang onto the car. We've actually got a brand new chassis for both drivers. Lovely. So we can go faster, I think. Yes, we will be the same amount of top speed, but we'll be going through the corners a bit quicker, which is always helpful. We've got new side pods to put on, which will increase our top speed and our cornering speed. Lovely stuff. We are about to start embarking on manufacturing a new underfloor. We've got new suspension to go in. Brilliant. So we should be even better today than we have been before. Let's see how that impacts our car. I mean, high speed, we're the best. With the best for DRS effectiveness as well. Not that helped us particularly in a DRS train in Canada. 7th now for top speed, that's useful, and we're good at low speed. Medium speed, not terrible. So yeah, we are looking pretty handy. So I'm going to get to the one and only practice session, and I'll see you in qualifying, and then we've got 2 races to do today. Qualifying has gone splendidly so far. We've topped both sessions, 1st and 2nd. Yeah, we're in the 1-minute 2s here at Haas, 62.5 second laps from us, and we're just smashing it. I mean, in Q1 the Red Bulls couldn't get within 3/10 of us. Norris got within 2/10 of us in Q2, but we are absolutely flying. We've got 3 sets of soft tyres to use. I think I'm going to use a used set actually for the first run, and then we'll just keep an extra set for the race up our sleeve, so we'll have 2 sets to use. I'm going to use mediums in the sprint. Let's get to the track and apparently lock out the front row. Less than 3 minutes to go in qualifying here in Spielberg, and we have the first 2 positions locked down at the moment. Interestingly, it's Drugovich who is ahead. He had the slipstream from his teammate, so we are going to send them in the reverse order, although Drugovich is now going to pick up a slipstream from Lance Stroll. So, whoa, that was a wild Jack Doohan appearing, and he's just completed a lap to go 4th fastest. So let's see how we do. Can Gasly deny his teammate pole position, or will Drugovich get his first pole of the year? Let's see. Gasly's actually dropped a bit further back from the Brazilian, and I don't think he'll benefit from the tow. He has set a personal best first sector. Drugovich, despite the tow of Stroll, not going faster in the opening sector, but he might benefit, maybe not through the middle sector. Let's see. Drugovich, it's not showing us anything. So across the line, we're going to find out whether... Well, Drugovich hasn't improved. Gasly stays second. He did not improve enough on that final run. The final sector, not good enough. Drugovich has pole position. And no one is within half a second of us. We've absolutely smashed it today. Verstappen goes within 0.4 of us. There you go, just to make me eat my words. But we've taken pole position by... Well, we've locked out the front row by a handsome margin for the sprint. Yeah, we look ferociously fast today. It's an all-Haas front row for the sprint, and we're aiming to make it so for the Grand Prix. 5 red lights. The lights are out, the race is on. Look like a good launch for Pierre Gasly. Let's hop on board with the Frenchman. Is he going up the inside? Has he just backed out? He had such a good run on Drugovich, then just seemed to back out of it, and now Verstappen is in second. That was weird, but Drugovich at least still leads. Gasly sending it on the brakes up the inside of Verstappen, and that's much better, isn't it? So as it stands, Gasly would retake the championship lead in the sprint, and, well, that's kind of the start we were after. Stay first and second on lap 1. Gasly has streaked straight into the lead. I'm going to allow them to fight a little bit. We're pulling away from Verstappen, who is also on mediums. Only Lando Norris and Sergio... Well, only Lando Norris in the top 10 is not on mediums. There's a few people on hards in the back of the field. So, at the moment, yeah, it's just a straight fight between our two drivers. If it gets a little bit too tasty, I might just ask them to calm it down, but so far so good. Start of lap 12, halfway through the sprint, we've pulled out a 3-second lead on Max Verstappen. We're just driving away from everybody right now, and it is very much an internal squabble. We could have this in the Grand Prix tomorrow as Drugovich goes around the outside, trying to find a way through. He's still there on the inside. Can't quite make the move stick. What I have done to try and protect us from complete disaster is turn the driver's overtake aggression down to low. That's the only team order that I've given them. Essentially, that's a play nicely, boys instruction. So, yeah, Drugovich now down the outside. We're now 4 seconds clear of Verstappen because I think we're just... Because of the DRS... We're able to just keep pulling away, and also Verstappen is under pressure from Du and Russell. So, yeah. I mean, do we? If Drugovich gets in front towards the end, do we allow him to take the victory? He did start on pole position, so it's a tricky one. But Gasly's in the championship fight and will clearly need the points. But we've got a car where potentially Drugovich, if we can get him up there, can be taking points off the others. So I suppose that's the job we do, is maybe keep it like this, where Gasly leads them home. Okay, we might have a decision, well, I say decision to make, but it's a very straightforward one. Drugovich's tyres are now on the way, and I'm just going to ask him not to fight his teammate because I need him to make it to the end of the race. I'm just going to slow him down a little bit as well. Ask him to sit behind his teammate. We're 4 seconds clear of Russell now, who is up to third, and this would give Gasly a 1-point lead in the championship, and Drugovich is now essentially a buffer to his teammate. And let's be honest, Gasly's the man that we're putting our chips into the championship fight with. Drugovich is currently 10th in the standings, so this makes sense. I do want to do right by Felipe, but at the moment we have to do what's best for the team, and also Gasly, who's in the championship fight at the moment. We need to give him every opportunity to maintain that, and this is how we do it. I think we're just going to go to the end of the race now, and yeah, I think we're going to take a 1-2 in the sprint in Austria. Start of the final lap. We've absolutely dominated this race. They've scrapped it out, and it's all been fair, which is good. We've had to make a decision at the end to just hold position. That's fine. And we've won the sprint, first and second. Nice work. Two-stop strategy today. It's a tricky one because soft, medium, soft can work, but Drugovich not so good on his tyres. Gasly I think he's got like 95, 96 smoothness now. I don't know if we can show you his stats while we're here. Can't. But yeah, so I'm going to start soft, medium, soft with Pierre and go medium, hard, soft with Felipe. So we can run his race deeper and he can be really quick towards the end. We can probably go aggressive on the hard tyres in that middle stint. So yeah, slightly different strategies with both. Hopefully this doesn't kind of screw Drugovich over, but we've got 2 sets of soft tyres to use in case of safety cars, and obviously Pierre I think will have he's got 2 sets of mediums, so yeah, that kind of works out nicely. I think that's a nice balance. Let's get to the grid and do a motor race. It was kind of crushing dominance in the sprint, wasn't it? But here we go, this is the race. It could be very different. 5 red lights, the lights are out, the race is on. Gasly moves to the middle of the track to defend. Drugovich already down to 3rd. George Russell looking around the outside and taking 2nd place. Verstappen already down to 5th, and Gasly charges up the hill in the lead. That's what we wanted to see. We do need to get Drugovich back into 2nd place, but we can sort that out later. A few people on softs, mostly towards the back of the grid, people who qualified out of position, looking at Sainz and Alonso. And Stroll is in 6th, well, now 5th now. He's ahead of Verstappen, who's just going backwards. What is happening to Max Verstappen? He's in reverse. Gasly, can you pull away from Russell? That would be the key. And if the sprint pace is anything to go by, he very much will right now. We've got a virtual safety car here on lap 2 of the Grand Prix. Not sure who it involves. It's Valtteri Bottas who's crashed, so that doesn't really make any difference to us, but it just gives us a chance to cool the tyres down, and then we'll be able to hit them again and we can charge up the battery, and hopefully I think DRS will be activated after it, so we should be able to nail Russell with Drugovich as Gasly pulls away. VSC is concluded, and now we can get going. Drugovich can get onto the tail of Russell, and hopefully Gasly can pull away. His soft tyres have got a bit chilly, 85 degrees only, and I think the Red Bull will pick up some DRS here, which is a bit of a problem. It'll keep him in range, and once you get DRS, you do seem to just home in on your opponent. Stroll is causing a bit of a traffic jam behind us, which is helpful. So Drugovich doesn't necessarily have to get the job done immediately. Gasly does need to pull away, so we could probably do with getting Drugovich ahead and then just blocking Russell essentially. Drugovich up into 2nd place. So we're going to get a replay. Here we are. He did have a look into turn 1, but just the... Oh, wow, look at the traction difference. It's like a different category. Fantastic from Drugovich up into 2nd, and now we can just use him as a bit of a buffer to slow Russell's progress, hopefully. Alonso's run wide. So let's drop back on the old aggression on tyres. Drugovich has actually left Russell behind. Russell has dropped out of 1 second to even Felipe Drugovich, so that's good news. I will ask him not to fight his teammate. Low overtake aggression, and hopefully now Gasly will just pull away, and with DRS we should be able to just extend our lead over the Red Bull. Lap 15, and our sprint pace has transferred very much to the Grand Prix. Drugovich sitting in position behind his teammate, and everything's going to plan. We've got Gasly looking after his tyres. His smoothness is fantastic, so he is very well set on the soft, medium, soft strategy. Drugovich in play behind his teammate. I mean, the way things work out, he could either get an overcut on his teammate if a safety car comes out or something. So he's actually done a really good job to just stick with Pierre, and we are pulling away from everybody else. We're in the 1:07s. Russell a 1:08.0, a little bit slower last time around, but yeah, look, Verstappen stuck in 6th on an 8.6 last time around. We are just completely dominant right now. It's kind of fascinating because I did not expect to be this crushingly dominant after what we saw in Canada, where everyone was basically in a huge train. Pierre Gasly is heading... Oh no, he's not heading for the pit lane because I forgot to do the pit stop. Oh dear, we don't want this because he's now at risk of a puncture. Please get to the pit lane, Pierre. This is a... I was like, oh yeah, he's coming in, and I completely forgot to actually tell him to come in. Now he makes it, which is fine. He's opened up a 3.5 second gap over Drugovich, who is now set for his optimal pit stop, so we will do that. They essentially end up pitting 1 lap apart. We need a good pit stop here, please, everybody. 3.392 is fine, and Drugovich will be heading to the pit lane. I'll get him to attack on his tyres, use what's left of those mediums, and Gasly pops out in P8. He's behind Doohan, who has not stopped, so we are in a good position. We'll get attacking on the tyres, get them up to temperature. Drugovich, what's going to happen with you? I don't see him popping out ahead of his teammate as Verstappen moves ahead of his teammate, and Red Bull now move into the lead. Slightly slow stop, so Gasly will absolutely have the lead back. So Drugovich is now, 5 seconds behind his teammate. Let's get him deploying some of that battery to pick up his pace. But we should be safe from any threat behind. We're looking very comfortable in a 1-2 position right now. And Gasly is going to take another big step in the World Championship. And this is going to be a great result for Drugovich. He's had some decent races. He's had some not so good races for one reason or another. So this is a welcome return to form for the Brazilian as we move into what is essentially a net 1-2. Russell's had a slow stop. He is now miles behind. Pierre Gasly leads the race on lap 31. Then still a long way to go. 40 laps remain. We can just go standard on his tyres. And Drugovich, we plan to attack on his hards, but he's got Max Verstappen at closing him down rather quickly as we get a yellow flag. It's Oscar Piastri who has crashed. There's been a bit of an accident there. The two AlphaTauris look like they're involved. No, it's just Pourchaire and Piastri, two old F3 rivals coming to blows, it would seem. And their scrap at the back kind of irrelevant to us unless it causes a safety car or a red flag. So Verstappen is closing in because he's on soft tyres and Drugovich on hards, but he's got 8 seconds to close in by. And what's the lap time difference? I mean, it's fairly significant, 0.8 of a second a lap. Although Drugovich just done a 1 minute 6.6. What does Verstappen do? A 5.6. So it's a second a lap, which, I mean, that's not great. But Verstappen will go to hards, I'd suppose, for the final stint, and it will swing back the other way. So not worried at the moment. Lap 44, Pierre Gasly still leads. Felipe Drugovich still second, almost 10 seconds between them. But the Red Bulls are not catching us anymore. Russell and Verstappen are fighting each other, and Verstappen's tyres have kind of given up the ghost a little bit. They're not performing as well as they once were, and the lead between us and Red Bull is now 8.5 seconds. And this is really important because Drugovich being second means we take more points out of Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship. And if we can repeat this, like double podiums, at least both drivers in the top 4 or 5, that means we can maybe challenge Red Bull for the Constructors' Championship. 10 races to go, including this one. It's a tough ask, but if we do this more often than not, we'll give ourselves at least a fighting chance, and that's all you can do. And then you just ask Red Bull to be charitable and make lots of mistakes and have their drivers crash into each other, which, you know, would be absolutely hilarious at their home race where they're already getting trounced. Time for Pierre Gasly's second and hopefully final stop of the day. Hits the pit speed limiter marks. Now he's got to hit the stop marks in the pit box. Neat and tidy stop, 3.3 seconds. Lovely stuff. Drugovich a couple of laps away from his final pit stop. Then he'll be switching to soft tyres. Gasly comes out ahead of Russell We've been so dominant in this race. The only thing he needs to do is recover enough fuel, and then he will be fine. We need to attack on the tyres, get them up to temperature so that Russell doesn't essentially slow us down by being a nuisance. But he's about to stop anyway. Verstappen has fitted a set of mediums for his final stint. Russell now goes into the pit lane, so we can probably just relax with Pierre a little bit, to be honest. We'll just conserve some fuel. He is 10 seconds behind Drugovich, but Felipe still needs to stop one more time. Let's just make sure that Drugovich's stop goes smoothly. It does, 3.5 seconds. Beautiful stuff. Where's Sainz? There he is. Where's Verstappen and Russell? They're nowhere near. I am stunned with how good our car has been this weekend. Just unbelievable. I know we put some upgrades on, but it's taken us from kind of fighting Red Bull to we are, at least at this circuit, clear of them. We are just absolutely nailing it today. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable performance. And Drugovich is very quickly on the back of Sainz to take back second place. Pierre Gasly starting the final lap of the Austrian Grand Prix. He's got a almost 20-second lead over his teammate Felipe Drugovich. George Russell's a further 15.5 seconds back, just ahead of his teammate Max Verstappen. And Lando Norris performing well for McLaren, heading this train of cars. But here's the man that we're just marvelling at. Okay, we've given him a fabulous car, and I'm sure Hulkenberg could have done a great job with this machine as well. But Gasly has been superb. It's magnifique is how I would call it. And he's just been almost unbeatable. Had we got the strategy right in every race, I think we'd have won all of them. Put it that way. The safety car in Australia, the not boxing too early enough in Imola, and then Canada's debacle. But it doesn't matter. Pierre Gasly takes his third Grand Prix win of the season. Fantastic. Come on. He's leading the championship, and we're in the hunt for the constructors too, with a 1-2 finish. Here comes Felipe Drugovich. This has been a sensational weekend. First and second in qualifying, first and second in the sprint, first and second in the Austrian Grand Prix. Wow, just crushing dominance. Sadly, we won't get to see the podium celebrations today, but we can watch Pierre Gasly celebrating on his car. It'd be nice if they could have all the cars in there and the two drivers high five, or they hug it out, bro hug it, how they do in reality. But there you go, kind of what we see there. It'd be nice to see the two teammates do it as well. But Haas are absolutely one of the top teams now in Formula One. We've won half of the races in Season 3. We've kind of come from nowhere, I'd say, to do this, but we're going to enjoy it while it lasts. Make the most of that success, because you're never quite sure if it's your last win or not. Of course, we're not going to get to see the podium because Drugovich doesn't have his face scanned, which is sad. But look at that. First and second. Absolutely wonderful. Red Bull 36.5 seconds off the race winner. Just amazing. The only blemish on the weekend is that Carlos Sainz got the bonus point for fastest lap, but Mercedes aren't really anywhere near us. I mean, look at the gains we've made today. Haas closing in by 20 points on Red Bull, and it's absolutely game on now. It's what, that's 35 points the difference. So a brilliant weekend for our championship hopes. And Gasly now has a 14-point lead at the top of the championship, 33 points to, well, he's at 13 more points than anybody else that's not Felipe Drugovich this weekend. So absolutely brilliant weekend for us. Drugovich up to 7th. He's now ahead of Norris, and Leclerc's having a rotten season. Lewis Hamilton's, well, I say trouncing him. It's only 13 points, but I would not expect to see Charles Leclerc 9th in the Drivers' Championship in a Ferrari that's fairly competitive as well. But for us, we're leading the way. We are the team to beat. What a fantastic weekend, and we're hoping to ride this wave of momentum right into Silverstone and hopefully take a home victory for me. Won a few races round there with Mercedes. Be nice to do it with Haas as well. Make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on the video for me. Subscribe for more F1 Manager content coming very, very soon. And I'll see you at Silverstone. You're the best fans. Bye for now.